Your team calendar is full. Your Slack notification ping is going off non-stop. Everyone is busy, and yet it feels like somehow nothing's getting done. The business isn't moving forward. We're not growing as fast as we used to, and somehow the more and more people I hire, the less and less seems to get done. Does any of this sound familiar? The good news I have for you is that it's not just you, and you're not just imagining it. In this video, I want to break down the common productivity traps that stall out growth and speed as companies scale, and more importantly, exactly how to fix them so that you can get your team back on track and start growing and moving faster than ever. So first off, let's talk about how this happens and why this happens. Right now, your team is probably coming to you all the time and saying something to the effect of, I'm so overwhelmed, I'm so burnt out, I'm so busy. But we all know that busy is not the same as productive. Yes, our team is really busy. Yes, our team is really overwhelmed. But when you hear that, I want you to retranslate that in your mind to your team telling you, I'm really disorganized. And that disorganization is making us really inefficient. Because we're disorganized, I'm spending all of this time and energy trying to get work done, but every piece of work takes longer, is slower, is more convoluted, requires more steps. I have to go into Slack, I have to track down information, I have to have 100 meetings, there's all these people I need to talk to. So as we grow and scale, just to get the work done, it starts to take longer and longer. So why is this happening now? Well, the truth is that you've always been this disorganized. But when you were smaller, it didn't really matter. The team was not that big. You didn't have that many clients. There just wasn't that much to get done. And so those little inefficiencies, those little areas of disorganization within the business were negligible. You didn't really notice them, and they didn't really slow you down. But now, as we've grown and scaled, every single one of those inefficiencies magnifies and compounds at scale. I want you to think of like a tangled ball of yarn. When that tangled ball of yarn is just one strand, it's not too bad, we can figure it out. But now, with every new hire, every new person that we bring in and we introduce into this disorganized ecosystem, that's like adding a new strand into that ball of yarn. Now we have 5 strands, 10 strands, 20 strands, and all of these strands are wrapped around each other, and the overall chaos and complexity and disorganization of that becomes magnified at scale. So all that's changed is that this disorganization is now too costly to ignore, and we cannot outwork or out-hire the problem. The harder we work, the more inefficient we become. The more people we hire, the bigger the ball of yarn becomes. So there's actually only one solution here. We need to detangle that ball of yarn. We need to get our team organized. And when we do that, we will unlock massive amounts of productivity and, this is the fun part, profit. Because think of your team's time and energy as a resource, right? It's a resource that you are already paying for. You pay your team the same amount of money every single month, regardless of the amount of work that they get done for you. So for that same amount of cost, the question becomes, how much return are we getting on that investment? Are we getting 1x output, 2x output, or 5x output? It costs us the same amount, but the outcome could be wildly different. And the gap between these two things is your profit margin. How much output, that's revenue, that's cash flow, does the company make for the same amount of time and energy that you are paying for? So when we unlock productivity in our team, what we're actually unlocking is profit inside of our business. Our team will be able to run faster, get more done, and drive more growth to our company in the same number of hours. And all of that efficiency drops to the bottom line on your P&L. So this is why team is something that we call a hidden profit center inside of your business. It is profit hiding in plain sight that you can't get to and you can't take off the table because it's leaking out of your company in the form of wasted hours through these disorganized systems. And operations, very simply, is the process of finding those profit gaps, closing them, and taking that profit off the table. So to help our clients do this, we developed a tool that we call the Hidden Profit Finder. And what it will do is actually go through your business and help you identify exactly where profit right now is leaking out of your business. This tool, it takes 10 minutes or less, and it was so effective that we decided to just make it available and make it free for everyone. So if you want that link is in the description. Have at it. And my goal is that you are going to, for the same amount of cost, stack and find hidden profit within your company. And in order to do that, let's talk through the 3 major reasons that hyper busy teams get less and less done, and where those productivity traps are hiding in plain sight. So of these three major areas, the first and most obvious one is systems. Let me give you an example. When I was the COO for a digital marketing agency, the average client success manager at the average agency that I knew of could handle between 30 to 40 client accounts each. My account managers were handling between 80 to 100 client accounts each. So my client success managers were literally 3x more productive than my competitors. How did I do that? I did it by systemizing every single component of the role. So my CSMs and my competitors' CSMs, they both had 8-hour working days. The question is, how were those 8 hours spent? For my competitors, those hours were spent in Slack, bothering each other and bothering the founder, trying to figure out what's going on and what does this client need next. Clicking through 20, 30 different tabs of all the different tasks and softwares and emails, trying to track down relevant client information just so that they have what they need to reach out to that client and take the next step. Bothering the salesperson around what did we promise this client and what are their payment terms and their credit card just failed, right? Doing all of this stuff, all of this busy work that actually generates no value, no revenue for the business. Like that's all stuff that needs to get done in order to do the thing that's actually valuable, which is hop on the call with the client, take the next step with the client, upsell the client, do the thing that maximizes client retention and client lifetime value. So let's compare that to the 8 hours for my client success managers. My client success managers, because of the systems, spent 80+% of their time just doing the value add thing, which is checking with the client, hop on a call with the client, upsell the client, retain the client. 80% of their day was communicating with clients and maximizing client lifetime value. And they could do that because everything else that they needed to be successful was at their fingertips. All of that client information was in the client dashboards. All of the tasks that they needed for that client was in their task list. Everything they needed from the rest of the team to get that client project done was being automatically delegated and taken care of by our task management system. And anything that can be automated was. So my team had to do the least amount of manual effort and rely on automations to get a lot of work done for them. So because I built the right systems and the right automations, I was literally able to 3x the productivity of my team. And again, the important part of this, it was for the same cost. I didn't have to pay my client success managers anything more. And yet I was able to get so much more from them just by systemizing and making their role as productive and profitable as possible. So that's number one, is systems. If your team feels inefficient, it's probably because they don't have the right systems to allow them to be maximally organized and productive. So that's the obvious one, but there are actually two more, and I think these are more insidious because they're hidden, they're harder to see. The second major productivity trap is in role clarity. What is role clarity? Think for a moment of a soccer team. And imagine trying to play a soccer game without assigning any positions on the field. You just take a team of 11 guys, you plop them on a soccer field, and you say, get the ball through the net. What's gonna happen? Well, when the ball's over there, we're all gonna run over there. When the ball's over here, we're all gonna jump back here and play defense. When the ball is coming towards the goal, we're all gonna jump into the goal and try and be the goalie. Because there's no clearly structured roles. So how does this cost us productivity? It costs us productivity because nobody knows which ball belongs to who. So we all spend time and energy chasing every single ball, which means doubling up on work because I thought this was my job and you thought it was your job, so we both did it, and that's super inefficient. Or even worse, picking up dropped balls because we had that moment where I thought you had it and you thought I had it, and while you and I are having a staring contest trying to figure out whose ball it is, that ball just passes right between us and into the net. And this is why dropped balls happen in our business, that we then need to take even more time to go in and to clean up. So without role clarity, we end up bogging down our team, because if every ball is everyone's ball, now everyone has to be coordinating with each other all of the time, as opposed to role clarity, where everyone knows these are my balls and these are not my balls. I can trust my teammate to handle their part of the field. I can stay on my part of the field, and I don't have to run over there. I don't have to double up on their work. I don't have to even talk to them, because I trust that they have what they need to play their role on the field successfully. So when we clarify roles, we go from a team of Swiss Army knives generalists who do everything and do it just okay to scalpels. Our team gets to specialize. They get to do one thing, do it exceptionally well, do it better, do it faster, and not worry about anybody else's balls. And what that creates is speed, productivity, and actually quality. Our team is going to be able to do their job better because they get to specialize and master just one thing. So role clarity, that is the second major source of disorganization within a company where all of your productivity and time goes to die. What is the third? The third is actually the most subtle, and it's the hardest to break because almost always this third one comes from the founder. And the third one is strategic waste. What does that mean? It means that us founders are idea generating machines. We wake up and we watch a new Alex Hormozi video or go to a mastermind or read a book over the weekend, and we come in the next day full of ideas. Here's what we're gonna do next. I can't wait. It's the best thing I've ever come up with. Let's go. And we get so excited and we put our team to work on it, not realizing that we are accidentally overloading our team with too many competing priorities. Our team has so much to do because we have so many ideas for them to execute that they're able to get none of those ideas done well, and even worse, oftentimes those ideas actually pull our team in competing directions. So the metaphor I like to use is, imagine that your team is rowing a boat, but they're rowing the boat in 10 different directions. You might be rowing really hard. Your team might be rowing really hard. Everyone is working so hard. They're so busy. And yet, where is that boat going? Nowhere. At least nowhere fast. Because every time we come up with a new idea, we're adding a new direction for our team to row in. And when we do that enough, we dilute our energy. So now it's being cast in all of these different directions, and we're never able to achieve momentum, alignment, and focus in a single direction. So this third one is the hardest to break because what it requires is a behavioral change and an evolution from us. It actually requires us to become more discerning around the ideas that we say yes to, and importantly, the ideas we say no to. It forces us to become more strategic so that we only get to pick one direction, but then we get to send 100% of our team's energy and focus in that direction. And it requires us to become more disciplined when it comes to choosing priorities. If you have a list of 5 to 10 priorities, you effectively have no priorities. So we need to get better at deciding if we can only do 1, 2, maximum 3 things. What are we going to prioritize? We grow the discipline to stick to that, to see it through, to make sure it gets done before we introduce the next priority onto the list. So these are the 3 areas of disorganization that lead to team busyness, overwhelm, and burnout. Lack of organized systems, lack of organized team structure, and lack of organized strategy. On the flip side, if we solve these 3 things, we immediately unlock growth, speed, and profitability inside of our business. So of these 3, we said number 1 is systems. Let's start there. I have created a step-by-step walkthrough video of the single most important system in your business that will immediately unlock speed and productivity within your team by organizing how work gets done on the back end. This system is called your single source of truth, and I have built an entire video right here on what it is, how to build it, and how to organize it so that you can start unlocking speed and productivity tomorrow. I will see you in there, and good luck.